if we don't get this right, you're going to see real erosion to every one of our abilities to reach and sustain the American dream. And that's ultimately, again, what this campaign's about.
You're the 10th person to file for this. There might be an 11th today. Do you view this short primary, probable runoff? Do you view this as you and Ralph Norman are battling for one lane, Lindsey Graham and Russell Fryer battling for another lane? How do you view this race?
I leave that up to you experts. Again, I'm not going to handicap the race. I'm going to focus on trying to get our message out there, and the degree to which people are struggling with, again, the affordability issue, and it's a direct consequence. I mean, think about just sort of the math. Okay, Washington goes out, spends a bunch of money it doesn't have, and then they turn around and print a bunch of money we don't have, so that then the value of every dollar that we do have is eroded in value, and the price of every part of life goes up. I mean, that's the formula we're in, and that's what we're going to be focused on. I'll leave it to others to handicap the race itself.
This is a statewide election, and obviously, as governor, we have run for statewide office before, some time ago, of course, and in the time since, maybe there's this idea that voters might have of you that's calcified over that time from the last time you ran for state office, and going back to them, this time around, do you think enough time has passed for, they're convinced that, maybe this is like, a different person that we elected, 20 some odd years ago, close to that?
What's that country music song? I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. I mean, the nature of the human journey is none of us are the same person at 60 as we were at 30. I mean, that's just life. So part of it's just the maturation process, and people make their own judgments or not on that front. But part of it is, I've been on a very humbling journey. It's a humbling journey when you go through all of 2009 and all that entailed, and then you go home and you think you're going back to business, but oddly enough, a congressional seat came up. A bunch of folks start calling, you need to do this. I'm like, look, the wounds are finally healing. I ain't going back into that fire. Anyway, end up doing it. And then the people who knew you best, the people on the coast of South Carolina, say, look, we don't in any way approve how you handle that chapter of life, but we know you and we trust you, and we're going to send you back to the United States Congress to represent our viewpoint in Washington, D.C. That is a humbling journey to go on, and I've been on that journey. And so, I'll leave it for voters to decide. I would just ask, if you live in the upstate and have questions, call some folks down on the coast, down, Beaufort, Hilton Head, Charleston, Bluffton, all those areas that I grew up in, and there may be some perspectives that matter, because I don't think any of us, at the end of the day, want to be judged on our worst day in life any more than we want to be judged on our best day in life. I think we want to be judged by the totality of who we are and what we've done, whether we've had a turn in the ditch or whether we climb the mountaintop. Again, it's that totality of life, and that's what I would hope people would look at is, what's he done? I've been in the logistics business the last 5 years, a hard, gritty business, but I tell you what, the folks that work for me, I would argue they're American heroes. And in as much as I'm running for my boys, I'm running for them too, because these are hard-working folks that have little to nothing in the way of margin. And if something goes wrong with regard to finances in Washington, D.C., you know who's going to get hurt the most? My drivers. They're going to really get walloped. And so, I just think you learn as you go through life, and I think all of us. That's the Christian journey of repentance, rebirth, and a second chance, and that's just the journey I've been on. But anyway, enough of all that. Yeah.
You mentioned government spending. What would you identify as missteps on behalf of Washington and as well as in the state when it comes to government spending?
Well, I think a lot of it's process related right now. Think about this. People are handed a 1,000-page document. We've gone from when I was first in Congress, we had a thing called regular order. And that is, it went from a subcommittee to a full committee up to full floor vote. Same thing was taking place in the Senate. And you actually got to take things apart and say, well, I like this part, I don't like this part. What's happened now in terms of processes is it's all rolled up into a 1,000-page, omnibus bill, and they vote up or down. It allows every politician to come home and say, I'm for you, I'm with you, whatever that means, because there's something that whoever it was they're talking to liked. And it gives political cover. It's great politically, but it's disastrous from a taxpayer standpoint. And there's no accountability that goes with it. You get this 1,000-page omnibus bill, a couple hours before you're going to vote on it. Nobody can look at what's in there. Nobody has any idea. I think even Nancy Pelosi said, well, you need to vote on it before you read it. Or there was some phrase like that. I don't remember it exactly. And that's a crazy way of doing business. So I think a lot of it's process, and then I'd go down with a pig list, if you want to call it. I remember walking 2 pigs into the State House to decry pork barrel spending here in Columbia, because again, in that instance, we'd had a 9-month debate on the sanctity of our balanced budget requirement. At the end of the day, they said, look, we got to do what we got to do. We're just going to override you in block. I say, oh, yeah, you got to override, you got to do what you got to do? Then I'm going to look for some more colorful way of raising what I think is a constitutional issue on the sanctity of our balanced budget requirement, because what we do here will set precedent for the next 100 years on whether we really have a balanced budget requirement or not, because their point had been declare victory and move on, you got most of what you wanted. And so I just think, again, squeaking wheels get greased in politics. There's a real problem with process, and you need somebody who'll look under the hood at the engine, as we did, for instance, with the MAP Commission here in Columbia during the governorship.